What's up, guys? So let's talk video games. So I've been wanting to talk about Deus Ex Mankind Divided for a long time now, since E3 2015. When the trailers go out, I do some trailer reactions and I talk a little bit about my thoughts and stuff like that. I went to E3 2015 and I saw some behind closed doors gameplay. Now, this gameplay that they showed at E3 is no longer behind closed doors. They actually already put it up on YouTube a while ago. So I'm sure a lot of you have already seen it. If you haven't, the link will be in the description. And I believe I'll also include it in this little eye over here in a circle. That's where all my Deus Ex Mankind Divided videos are going to be, including an interview that I had at E3 2015, which was pretty good. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it because they do give me a lot of awesome information. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my experience at E3 and also a little bit about the game, especially when it comes to the theme of the game, because I think that's one of the coolest things, at least to me, about Deus Ex. It's a type of game, and this is what made me fall in love with Deus Ex Human Revolution, was it makes you think about things. It makes you think about you. It makes you think about society. It makes you think about the future. It makes you think about people and morals. And it just questions your beliefs and everything. And just so cool. I love it. So in Mankind Divided, it seems like they're doing the same thing again, but they're taking a different approach to it. So first, let me talk a little bit about my experience at E3. So Deus Ex Mankind Divided was one of my most anticipated games at E3. I was so excited to see this game. I think it was the one game that I was most excited about. And the team behind Deus Ex Mankind Divided, oh my god, they're so cool. And I'm not just saying this, like I'm not, you guys know that when I say something about a developer, I mean it. Because I've met them or, met them personally. It's not like I'm just, elevating them on some status that I have nothing to base it on. No, I actually met a lot of the team and I had talked to some of them online on Twitter. They had seen my reaction before E3 to their first trailer, and they were like, "Oh, this is so cool!" They reached out and they were thanking me, and all the feels like, "Oh my god, it was a moment." I had a moment. So when E3 was coming around, I had thankfully already gotten accepted to go to E3, and I was already trying to book an appointment with Eidos Montreal. I was in that stage when I got a message from someone at Eidos, and they were like, "We would love to have you here." And I was like, "Oh, freaking A." Oh my god. I actually was with Lady Insanity, Ash. We hung out a few times during E3, and it was so cool. I loved spending time with Ash, but we were like, let's go see the Deus Ex Mankind Divided behind closed doors gameplay, because it was going to be 30 minutes, I believe it was. And I was so excited. She was excited to see it as well. So we watched it together, and it was I was kind of I was the dork that I always am. We were in the theater, right? And they were like, "Okay, turn off all your cameras," and blah blah blah. And I was like sitting there with my little notepad. I still have my notes from them and that from that time, and they were all scribbly because I was writing down all of these notes while looking at the screen. I was like, I didn't want to miss anything. It was so good. And this was just an alpha. This was an alpha. So again, you could see this footage on YouTube. I'll provide the links. The first thing that I noticed was that this game is a lot brighter, because Human Revolution was dark. It was really dark. It had that trademark black and yellow feel to it, that tint. And I loved that. It was always it was always night. I don't remember it ever being day. It was almost always night. And the city, it was just, you could barely see anything in the city. That's one of the things that I love about Deus Ex, is how mechanical the city looks, how crowded it looks. Like everywhere you look, it's just like there's so much that you can't process everything that you're seeing in the city. It's like, oh my god, there's so much here. It just looks extremely industrial, extremely mechanized, and just electrical, and the lights and all the neon signs and stuff. And it's kind of dirty, and you see the smog coming out everywhere and stuff. And that was Human Revolution. In Mankind Divided, it has the same feeling, but now it was brighter. You were actually walking outside in the day, and I was like, so you still see a city. It's a different city. You are in the Czech Republic. You're in Prague, so it's obviously a different city, but it still has that same feel to it, where there's so much. And if you've seen shots in the trailers, it just looks like a futuristic world where you're like, oh my god, like an industrial futuristic world. I love the art of Deus Ex. So they still have the 4 aspects to Deus Ex, which are combat, hack, social, and stealth. You still could play the way that you want to. It's pretty much like Human Revolution, but advanced. There's more to it. It's a bigger, I believe it's even a bigger map. It's a bigger world. It's 2029, which is 2 years after Human Revolution. The augmented are pushed into ghettos. The ghetto is called Gollum City, and I'm gonna go off on a little tangent here just because we're talking about it right now. There is a myth in the Czech Republic about golems. The golem in the Czech Republic is very significant. It means a lot in their culture and in their writing and stuff. There's a story called the Golem of Chelm, and I don't know if I'm saying that right, Kelm or Chelm. And it's pretty much a story of hubris. And when I saw this, I was like, oh my god, it's going back to the same themes of Human Revolution, because in Human Revolution, a huge theme of Deus Ex in general is hubris. How power can corrupt someone. You could use this power or this advancement for good or for evil. A golem is an animated anthropomorphic being magically created entirely from inanimate matter, perfectly obedient, and they're not intelligent. But in this story, the Golem of Chelm, it is about a rabbi that creates this golem. It's actually a female golem, but this golem became enormous and uncooperative. Its master, a rabbi, had to trick it to deactivate it, and it ended up breaking apart when he deactivated it and falling on its creator, crushing him. This story, or this myth, was actually one of Mary Shelley's inspirations to write Frankenstein. This rabbi creates this monster to serve him, but it ends up kind of rebelling against him and wanting to break free. I was reading the story a little bit, and it's actually pretty interesting. I'll have the link in the description if you want to read it. But it's very similar to Frankenstein. And when the monster, or when the golem slips out of its location where it's being held by this rabbi, it doesn't mean to do bad, but because it's so powerful, it ends up burning houses and stuff like this. So it's because it's so powerful, it doesn't have control over how, like, one little touch could just break something, and it's like, I didn't mean to do that, Hubris can be seen as acting in a violent way through pride, because of this sense of pride, this sense of feeling above others. Sometimes you do things that will lead to destruction or bad things. And another story with this theme of hubris, which was what they used for Human Revolution, is the Icarus, the Icarus story, the Greek myth. And they even bring back the whole Icarus thing for Mankind Divided, where Adam Jensen stands up and you see these lights, these like LEDs behind him, but they form the wings that we saw in Human Revolution, where Adam Jensen is on this table and there's people like working on him, and he's passed out, and it's kind of like he's having this dream where he comes out of his body and he's got these wings and he's flying up high, kind of like Icarus. He flew too high and his wings melted from the sun, because his father and Icarus were trying to escape from Crete. So his father created these wings, and his father told Icarus, don't fly too low to the ocean, because your wings could get damp and you won't be able to fly anymore, and don't fly too high because the sun could melt the wings. Icarus was disobedient. He flew too close to the sun. His wings melted, and he fell to the ground. So again, that was hubris. Hubris dropped Icarus because he felt like he was flying. He felt he was too good to be true, pretty much. His pride was his downfall. And that was the same theme. That's why they had that in the trailer for Human Revolution, because it's like Adam Jensen is Icarus. Like, he could be Icarus. They're pushing him to be Icarus. He is to be licorice. They're pushing him to be Icarus, and he is falling. So he's pretty much losing his humanity, but like that constant, it's kind of become this trademark for Deus Ex now, is I didn't ask for this with Adam Jensen. But the thing that stood out the most was, for me, the very first time I saw that trailer, the very first trailer was in the very first trailer of Human Revolution. He says, "I did not ask for this. I didn't ask for this." And in this trailer, in the first trailer, Adam Jensen says,
"I never asked for this. Sometimes you just have to let go and embrace what you've become."
So it shows like a sense of maturity in Adam Jensen. It's kind of like Adam Jensen has come to finally from going from I didn't ask for this to you just have to embrace it and be who you are. It's more than just this cyberpunk type of story that's being told. The maturity of this game when it comes to the way that it makes you think, the things that it makes you think, is just brilliant. If you actually analyze it, there's so much to it. The imagery of Human Revolution was great, but the imagery and Mankind Divided also has that same imagery where you're just like, oh my god, you could take a snapshot. It's up there with God and Adam, that famous painting by Michelangelo. It's so poetic, that scene in Mankind Divided in the first trailer where you see the big dude, which is kind of the representation of the golem, going to touch another dude that is also augmented. And it keeps going back and forth between that guy and the augmented dude and Adam and a human. If you could just take a shot of that, like a picture of it, I would frame it because it's just so meaningful. It's this robotic hand, Adam's robotic hand, and even his name, Adam. I mean, come on. His hand is robotic, and this human, it's obviously a human hand. I mean, not only is Adam up here, it's kind of like saying, I'm more powerful than you. Like, I could crush you right now. But he is trying to help. He is trying to use his powers, his everything that he was given, that even though he didn't want it, now he has accepted it and he's trying to use it for good. Adam Jensen is the golem. Adam Jensen represents like the Frankenstein's monster almost. He was created, he didn't ask for it. He was created into this being. Is he still human? That's another thing. Is he still human, or is he no longer human? Is he a robot now? Is he just this cybernetic thing? Or is he still human? And Adam Jensen is constantly trying to prove that he is still human. I remember that they were saying that he is now an anti-terrorist agent, and he's also a double agent because the company he works for may be involved with the Illuminati. It's kind of like in Human Revolution where he worked for this company, but then it turned out that he was like, what? Wait, what are they doing? Very similar to Frankenstein, very similar to the Golem, where they kind of break from their creators. So the slums in this city, in Prague, it's called Golem City. I wanted to go a little bit into why it's called Golem City. This is where all the augments are. It's kind of the slums area. There's a bunch of police walking around, and the graphics are amazing. The detail, and this was just alpha, So what you see in this gameplay, it's alpha. There's a terror attack in the train station. Adam Jensen is there. And then they move forward in the gameplay. I'm not going to give too much detail because you could already see this gameplay. So I just want to talk a little bit about my thoughts on it. There were some parts in the gameplay where I was like, oh my god. There are new powers. Some of them are freaking awesome, but there are returning powers as well. X-ray is back, where you could see through walls. The Icarus strike. They said it was new. I was like, oh, I could swear that was in Human Revolution, but I think it was a different. I remember asking someone there, and I was like, wasn't the Icarus strike already in Human Revolution? But they told me it was different. It was something different. There's different bullet types for different things. Like one of them is an EMP bullet. So you could use not only different guns, but you could use different bullets depending on the situation. The cloak aug is back. I'm not sure if you start with it, but you can cloak again. A few of the new augmentations are the non-lethal target. You could do up to 4. This was cool. I believe it's the one where Adam goes like this, and then these things go. You could see it in the trailer, and he could target up to 4 people. Icarus dash. This is you could dash to areas and take out guys. Remote hacking, where you could hack from far away. There's the nano blade, which you see in the trailers. You could also use the nano blade as a bomb. Like you could put it, I believe if I remember correctly, you could put it like you could shoot it to the wall, and you could detonate it. The Titan. Out of the ones that we've seen, the Titan was so cool. I remember when I saw it for the first time in that theater, I was sitting there, and all of a sudden Adam Jensen just goes, he turns Titan, and I was like, oh. You pretty much turn into the tank. It's that ability where, if you've only seen the trailer, it's the very end of the first trailer where the guy shoots his weapon and the bullet is going slowly towards Adam, and it shows a close-up of Adam, and he starts turning, like these black pixels start covering him. That is the Titan. My first impressions when I was looking at the combat was that it's much more interactive, because I remember I wanted to go pure stealth in Human Revolution, and I got bored. I was like, screw this, and I just started killing people. But in Mankind Divided, there are so many more tactics. It feels more strategic, where you have so much more to use, and whether you're going stealth or guns blazing, it's up to you. You could use these in different these augments in different ways to make the experience more fun. It looks like it's still very challenging. It's not like you're this freaking god all the time, but it looks challenging. But the added strategy it made it look so much better than in Human Revolution. It's very similar, but with added stuff, and they were saying it's much more visceral combat. They said that there are more interesting characters. You also have the dialogue approach. You could do the whole convict or justify, you could turn tables on the person. So it's the same idea that from Human Revolution, but it's more advanced. So the game was actually delayed all the way until August the 23rd. I believe it was supposed to be coming out sometime early 2016. Some people went crazy. They were like, they were all mad. Like always, every time a game delays a game, or every time a developer delays a game, people always get angry for some reason. I'm like, do you really not want to play a game that is finished, polished, and have the developer feel comfortable about releasing it during a specific time? The publishers sometimes say you need to put a date. You have to say what date, just so that they have something to say. If they don't feel ready to release in that date, they've got to come out and say, you know what, we're going to push it. And these are developers that actually care about the game, the product that they are releasing. Some developers don't care. They're just like, oh, whatever, it's going to have a lot of glitches, but whatever, we'll patch it later. I mean, it sucks that we can't play it until August, but if it's going to be a more polished experience, awesome. It's going to be for the PS4, Xbox One, and the PC. So, and since it's going to be new gen and PC, some people were like, how are our saves going to cross? I chose a specific ending because there was different endings in Human Revolution. Is that even going to cross over to Mankind Divided? The only people that know what happened at the end of Human Revolution were Eliza, Adam, and you. Everyone else, the actual world of Deus Ex, the people, they don't know what you chose. So this is what the writer says. The thing that is true that everyone knows is that millions of Augs went crazy and hundreds of millions of people died, and the Pangea, I can't remember how to say that, installation got so damaged that it collapsed and people died in it. And then there are rumors. Everything that happens in everyone's ending, they're going to be getting that, and they're going to be incorporating into mankind because that happened regardless. But then the specific things that pertain to each ending are going to be mixed in the game as rumors and all these things that you're just going to be hearing. And depending on what you chose, you're going to be like, oh, that's what I chose. But you're going to be hearing all these things because people don't know what you did. So I'll have a few links in the description, including this interview with the writer of Deus Ex Human Revolution and Mankind Divided. My personal experience with the team, with the Eidos Montreal people, was so heartwarming. It was one of the most, aside from hanging out with Lady Insanity at E3, hanging out with the Eidos team, with the people that are making this game. It was an honor because they were so nice. They were so down to earth, and you could really see how much they love what they're doing. And they're excited when they see us excited because it's like they're getting feedback. I was talking with one of the guys and I was like, I love the art. I love the way it looks. And he was like, yeah, me too. They're like fans too. That's the thing about E3 is that, and conventions and stuff like that, other gaming conventions where you could get a one-on-one experience with developers, that if you ever have a chance, do that. And if you could talk to them one-on-one, do that, because I think more gamers need to meet developers one-on-one. And I'm not saying all of them are like this, only some of them, but the ones that I've met, like some of the BioWare people, the Ready at Dawn people, this team, the Eidos team, Eidos Montreal, they're so passionate about what they do, and they are fans of their own game. They work long hours, and they were telling me, all the hard work, all those days where they just feel so tired, and they don't know, they don't have any feedback. They don't know how this is even going to be received. When they see the fan feedback, when they see those reactions, when they see fans excited for this game, it wakes them up again. It's like their drive. And I've been told this by a lot of people, a lot of developers. Their drive is us. We are their drive. It's something that I think every gamer should experience at least once in their life so that they could have a different view of developers. Because I think a lot of gamers' views of developers are kind of based off of these notions of like Big Brother, like these developers are kind of like these greedy businesses or something like that. I don't know. Like a lot of gamers feel that way, and I'm like, they're people. They're just like you and me, like if you could meet them, they're not these CEOs in like freaking suits and stuff, and they're like treating you like way below here, like, oh, the common folk, the gamers. They're on your level. They're on the same level. They see the game on behind the scenes. They see the game in a different light. They get a different view. It's kind of like you're looking through a window. They're on the other side and you're right here, but you guys are seeing each other. You guys are still seeing each other eye to eye. I wasn't able to meet everyone that wanted to meet me. I remember there was like they were like, oh, the whole team isn't here. They want to meet you, and I was like, oh my god, they recognized me because from my reaction video, they were like, I know who you are. I was like, oh my god, it's surreal to me. I'm still not used to that. I am not used to that. Where these developers that I admire, they've seen my videos and they actually like them and they enjoy them, and I'm like, Oh, CD Projekt Red is another one of those I forgot to mention. But I've had amazing experiences with these developers at E3, and that's one of the reasons. That's the main reason why I love going to E3, not to see the games so much, to talk to these people. But this day they were like, "You're not gonna be here tomorrow," and I was like, "No, this is my last day," and it was at the end. E3 was already closed. They already closed the doors to the main entrance, and they're like, "Come on, we're gonna take you to the rest of the team." The rest of the team was there, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" They were like, "We'll sneak you in, don't worry." And I'm all walking with them. My brother and my sister-in-law were going, and we went to the entrance, and they were telling the people that were there, like the guards or whatever, the people that check your passes. They were like, she just wants to meet the team. They're inside, the rest of our team, we're part of Eidos Montreal, Square Enix, they're in there, we just want her to meet them. And they were like, and I was like, if you guys are gonna have trouble, don't don't do it. But they're like, no, don't worry. And they got me in. The people in the front didn't like it. They were kind of like eyeing me, and I was like, dude, I'm not gonna do anything. I'm just gonna say hi. So I went in, and I got to meet a lot of the team. I didn't get to meet all of them, but I'm hoping to meet more of them this E3. I was like, when I heard the delay for Mankind Divided, I was like, yay, I'm gonna see them at E3 again. Some people were kind of upset about the approach towards pre-orders that Square Enix took for the game. Square Enix wanted to do a pre-order thing. I don't even remember how it was, but it was kind of like once they reached like a certain amount of pre-orders, they would like include another thing in the pre-order bonuses, and it was like this leveling up system kind of for pre-ordering. I wasn't too big of a fan of that whole like leveling up the pre-order. I was like, that was kind of weird to me. I was like, they should just do, a specific pre-order like every game ever always does. I mean, I understand when it's like this, when it's an extra mission, which I think they're going to be doing for Mankind Divided, but they did that for Human Revolution too. They added an extra mission, and I believe like these new weapons or something like that. I remember that because I didn't get the extra mission from freaking Best Buy. But it wasn't even that. It wasn't that big of a deal, I remember. The mission, it was just this little mission. It's not important at all. But I could see why some people were like, would be like, oh, I want to play that mission. But I mean, pre-ordering doesn't cost anything. That's just the way that I see it. I know a lot of people are like extremely against pre-ordering. If it's not some crucial bonus mission that they're giving you in the pre-order, I don't see why. Like if it's just like a few weapons and like some statue or something like that, that's awesome. I mean, that's free things. Like why wouldn't you get it? All you have to do is just pre-order it. Like, you're not going to pay extra, It's not like you're paying extra. I mean, they're businesses. I don't know if that's news to people, but these are businesses. They have to kind of make money to pay their employees. Why I'm doing this a lot. I'm a hand talker. So that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys later. Oh, it's blurry. I didn't ask for this.